Episode 64 of The Shift. We are recording, baby. Nick Earnshaw, this episode today, I've been excited for this.
Yeah.
Ever since, we're trying to get more guests on the show, right? We had Joe Vaughn, we've had Matt Musico on both in the past, whom we both need to, we'll get them back on the show soon. Pete and Arado on the show recently. But as soon as I reached out to the guest that we're going to have on here in just about a minute, I was super excited. I knew he was going to say yes. I don't mean to sound cocky about that.
That's a little cocky.
Yeah, it's a little cocky.
A little cocky.
But, it's the truth. I felt like, me and this guy's relationship, it felt like it was a yes. And I was right. So, Nick, how you feeling about today's episode? I'm excited. We got a guest on today's show.
Yeah, there's a lot to get into. I'm excited, man. The guest we have today, he's been around baseball a long time. He knows the game in and out. He works it every single day. Yes. I'm excited to have the guest we're bringing on today. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to get into a ton of topics, whether it's the Yankees, Major League Baseball itself, his career. I can't wait. A lot of good stuff on the way.
Yes, and we'll get to some other topics and content a little later after this interview. So, without further ado, I'd like to bring on someone I'm working with for a couple of years now. Enjoy every single time I get to work with him. Nick, you've worked with him, in the past as well.
Yep.
The Spanish play-by-play for first, I will say, because this isn't a football show, but we got to say it. The Philadelphia Eagles, our Philadelphia Eagles, and the Spanish play-by-play for the New York Yankees, possibly future English play-by-play for the New York Yankees. I'm just saying.
Should be.
I didn't say. I didn't say it's happening.
Should be number one contender.
There's a big push for it.
Number one contender for sure. No doubt.
Possible. But we're
rooting for him.
Yes. So without further ado, you already know what we're talking about. The great Rickie Ricardo. Rickie, how are you doing?
Gentlemen, it is an honor and a pleasure to be on this show called You better make sure you put that F in there because there's a big difference between the shift and
Yeah. Rickie knows not to curse on our show. Thank you for.
Although this show is it's really the shift, but it is the. Oh, shut my mouth! How are you, gentlemen?
Oh, we're great, Rickie.
Great.
You were just in Williamsport last night, man. What was that experience like?
It was it was fabulous. It really was. No, seriously. It's a great event. You meet kids from all over the world. Little League World Series has become just a huge event with all the television coverage. It lasts a couple of weeks. And just the feel of baseball at its grassroots level. Little leaguers playing for the joy of the game. As Larry Anderson always says, for the love of the game, you don't need to get paid. It's for the love of the game. And that's exactly what we experienced yesterday. Kids that play the sport for the love of the game at its purest form. A wonderful event. Mother Nature cooperated because we know there was a lot of heavy rain in the entire state of Pennsylvania and Jersey. And a lot of people had floods yesterday. But Mother Nature cooperated. The game went off without a hitch, although it didn't end the way we wanted it to end with Clay Holmes blowing his 10th save of the season. But all in all, I had a ball. We got into Newark very, very late, about 3 o'clock in the morning. And all I did was go from one terminal to the other terminal. Both of you know how I operate. On my off days, I come home to beautiful Orlando, Florida, here at the chateau here, Chez Macou. This house belongs to me and my wife, so we named it after her. And so I'm spending the off day here after was a wonderful experience in Williamsport, PA yesterday.
That's fantastic, Rickie. It was a really good game. It was a close game, though. It didn't finish the way the Yankees would have liked to. And I want to talk about that ending a little bit, Rickie. With Jason Dominguez out there in left field, he was the 27th man for the game. He's been an interesting character in the minor leagues for the New York Yankees over the course of his time, signing with them. He has the nickname The Martian as well. He gets sent down. He kind of had that little bit of a hitch, and he hesitated throwing the ball to home plate. I just want to kind of get an overview. What's his outlook? He gets sent back down to AAA now. What do you expect out of Dominguez going forward?
Well, remember, this young man came up in early September last year when it was obvious that the Yankees weren't going anywhere. They weren't going to make the postseason. And in his first at-bat at the major league level, he hits a home run off of Justin Verlander, of all people, and had a fantastic couple of weeks with the big league club, then gets hurt and has to have Tommy John surgery, of all things. So he finally gets back. I believe it was in late April, early May. He finally gets back from Tommy John surgery, and then he has a lat injury, a muscle injury that cost him a couple of more months. So he's really only starting to get his feet wet again, get back into the groove. He looked overmatched. I got to be honest with you guys. He looked overmatched at the plate in last night's game. Now, it's Tarek Skubal who can, dominate anybody. Aaron Judge said after the game last night he thinks Tarek Skubal right now is the best pitcher in all of Major League Baseball, and you'd have to make a big-time argument to disagree with that. But Jason Dominguez, as you referred to, the Martian, he's in great shape, has lost some of the baby fat that he had last year. He's going to be a player. Now, how the Yankees choose to use him in the month of September, remember, you can only bring up 2 more players.
Right.
The rosters can only expand to 28. It's not like years ago when you can go all the way up to the 40 and bring as many guys up as you wanted. So if they go to 28 players, I'm looking at Dominguez being one of them and another relief pitcher, because you can never have enough arms in the bullpen. Maybe an Ian Hamilton comes back, or Scott Efros, or Nick Birdie, Lou Trevino. One of those guys might be the 28th man, but I think that Jason Dominguez will be on the big league roster in the month of September. And the way that Alex Verdugo has been hitting for the last 6 to 8 weeks, with that batting average and production going steadily downhill, it would not shock me one bit if Jason Dominguez is the everyday left fielder in the month of September and into the pennant drive and postseason.
Wow. Yeah, Ricky. So, you kind of mentioned Holmes blowing that save last night. Seems like he's been kind of, shaky in those 9th innings. The Yankees, though, it seems like every year there's some type of, I don't know if there's a weakness there. There's no hitters around Judge, right, in the lineup. Like Stanton's always hurt. Or the year that Judge hits, 60 plus homers, it's only Judge for the most part, right? Or Judge gets hurt last year after it looked like he was on pace to have another type of year that he's having this year. Or Cole was injured to start this year. The starting pitching is kind of all over the place. What is the biggest concern right now for Yankees fans, heading as we get closer to October?
It's the closer role. Without a doubt, it's the closer role. Clay Holmes last night against, let's face it, guys, these aren't the Philadelphia Phillies. These aren't the Los Angeles Dodgers. These aren't the Cleveland Guardians or Baltimore Orioles. These are the Detroit Tigers. And the guy that beats him with 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th to tie the game, Jace Young, brother of Josh Young from the Texas Rangers, came up to the major leagues and made his debut on Friday night. So you're talking about a young player who's only been in the big leagues for 3 nights. He's actually closer to being one of the little leaguers that were in attendance last night than being a big leaguer when you look at the big picture. And he gets the big hit to tie the game. And then he gets beat. Well, it wasn't Clay Holmes, but the Yankees get beat with Mark Leiter Jr., ex-Philadelphia Philly great, by the way. They get beat with Mark Leiter Jr. in the bottom of the 10th inning by guys named Zach McKinstry and Parker Meadows, of all people. So to answer your question, Cookie, look, the biggest concern is the closer role. The Yankees have not had a closer blow 10 or more saves since Dave Righetti in 1987. Neither one of you were even, in your parents' plans at that time. So it's been that long since the Yankees have gone with a closer, and Righetti turned out to be a very good one, pitched a no-hitter as a starter too, but back then he was a Yankee closer. They haven't had this kind of futility at the closer role since back in 1987. We'll see how Aaron Boone and it's obviously too late to make any trades, but we'll see what with the guys that might be coming back from injury. As I mentioned, the Ian Hamiltons of the world, the Nick Birdies of the world, and some of the guys that are in the bullpen right now. We'll see how Aaron Boone reacts to this. And does he go to bullpen by committee? Does he give, Clay Holmes another chance to regain the confidence of his teammates? That all remains to be seen. And it starts tomorrow night with a big 3-game series in the Bronx against the Cleveland Guardians.
Rickie, speaking of trades, a player they did make a trade for before the deadline found himself on the IL, thinks he can come back by September, not going to go get surgery, is Jazz Chisholm. He was in the crowd with with the little leaguers last night, which was awesome to see. There's been questions because I know the Phillies, there was rumors he could go there. He could go to a bunch of other places as well before the deadline, that he wouldn't be a good clubhouse fit. How does he fit into the clubhouse with the New York Yankees? And what's been the vibe around Jazz Chisholm? I know you had a great home run call when he did play the Phillies.
Well, the radio station that we're on in New York, which is 101.9, The Fan, WFAN, before that radio station turned into a sports station, it was Smooth Jazz CD 101.9 for many, many years. So the format, the Smooth Jazz format, was very prevalent around the country. There was a station in Philadelphia for a while.
Yeah.
Smooth Jazz was a hip thing going back about 15, 20 years ago. So that stuck in my mind, and obviously those home runs that he hit at Citizens Bank Park, and I called those games in English with Susan Waldman on The Fan, so that came natural for Smooth Jazz. He's been great, Nick, in the clubhouse. He has fit in perfectly. He's brought in a youthful exuberance. He is full of energy. It's a different kind of energy than the Yankees have had in that clubhouse all year long. Aaron Judge is the team's captain, but he leads by example. At least we don't see if he's very vocal at times. I've seen him put his arm around guys when they've needed to have something whispered in their ear, but he does it very subtly. Jazz is the outgoing, full of energy, big smile. You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me a lot of Didi Gregorius when Didi was a Yankee. Same kind of, left-handed hitter, got some power, not a big frame, very similar skill set to Didi Gregorius is Jazz Chisholm. And when you have the endorsement of a guy named Derek Jeter, who brought Jazz Chisholm to the Miami Marlins in a trade with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and you had Brian Cashman check in with Derek Jeter, and you get the captain's full endorsement of a player, you know that Jeter's not going to recommend anyone that's going to be a disruption in the clubhouse. And he's not. He's fit in perfectly.
Yeah, I would be remiss, Rickie, because I'm like every other baseball fan. I'm a big fan of Aaron Judge. Probably even Red Sox fans, I think, are fans of what Aaron Judge has done, especially, since his rookie year. What am I even talking about? But especially the last couple of years, on pace to hit 60 once again. What's it like being able to watch what he does every single day on the field? And do you ever, because you've been, you're the Eagles play-by-play guy, you've been the Yankees play-by-play guy. Has there ever been another athlete that you've ever watched where you're just witnessing this type of greatness?
Oh, that's a heck of a question, Cookie. Number one, I have called just about every Aaron Judge at bat and just about every Aaron Judge home run in whichever language since he first came up. The first time that he really impressed me was at spring training when he first got invited to participate in big league spring training. I was covering the Phillies still for KYW News Radio, and it was a Yankee-Phillies game in Clearwater towards the end of spring training. That I think it was the same game that remember Greg Bird, the Yankee first baseman? Greg Bird got injured with a foul tip off of his foot in that game and had to go on the IL right before the team went north. And Greg Bird was never the same player again. And in that game, the Phillies had a 1-run lead in the 9th inning. And here comes this kid. He's got number 99 on his, in his uniform. The only other guy I had ever seen wear 99, I think, was Manny Ramirez and maybe Mitch Williams, who was out to lunch a little bit. So here comes Aaron Judge. And I don't know if either one of you have been to the stadium in Clearwater where the Phillies train, but Judge hit a ball onto the highway behind the stadium. I'm talking about a 480-something foot shot onto Highway 19, which is the road that's behind center field where the Phillies train in Clearwater. And you had to see the look on everyone's face. Pete McCannon was the manager of the Phillies back then. Everybody's jaw just dropped when this young man put a ball onto Highway 19 to tie the game, and then the Yankees eventually would win it. They played an extra inning, and the Yankees won in 10 innings that day. And then remember, he hits a home run in his first at-bat in the major leagues when they called him up. So I've been around for every one of his big moments. He is the most humble athlete, the most humble human being you're ever going to want to meet. We spent a lot of time last year. It was interesting because when I got to Raymond James Stadium to call the Eagles Tampa Bay Buccaneer playoff game last year on that Monday night, as I'm walking into the stadium, who's walking in right behind me? Aaron Judge and his wife, and and a group. He lives in Tampa in the off season, and by that time, obviously the Yankees, hadn't started spring training yet. He was, just staying in shape across the street in the Yankee complex, taking some swings. So, and he's that type of guy. He sees you, comes up to you, gives you a high five, gives you a hug. He has been great with me from day one. Has never said no to me for anything. I don't ask for much. I respect the guys, but has always been great to me. He has been great to the press. If you would have seen him yesterday, 99.9% of those little leaguers yesterday all went to Aaron Judge, and then the rest of them went to Juan Soto. I kind of felt bad for the Tigers players because really not many of the kids wanted to go and visit with any of these Detroit Tiger guys. And even on the Yankee roster, it was Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, and maybe a few Anthony Volpes, sprinkled in. But to watch what he does on a daily basis, to see the kind of athlete, this guy could have been a wide receiver or a tight end in the National Football League if he would have chosen to play football. He could have been a power forward in basketball. He was that good in all those sports in high school in Linden, California. So to watch a man of that size with that kind of agility and speed and just a graceful, pure, beautiful athlete to watch is a pleasure and an honor that I treasure each and every day.
Yeah, so somebody with that type of superstardom to be that humble, it's pretty cool to hear because, I mean, he is a giant, literally and figuratively, in the game of baseball in today's day and age. But you also mentioned another name, Juan Soto, the newest Yankee from this offseason. Rickie, what's it been like seeing him go to work every single day? He's been traded a bunch. He's one of the best young players in baseball. Do you think he stays with the Yankees?
Got my fingers crossed, and hopefully Hal Steinbrenner can come up, with a formula, the type of contract that Scott Boras can be on board with. I don't know if he's going to get Shohei Ohtani type money. Remember, Ohtani is two players in one. Soto is not. But what's interesting about Juan Soto, guys, is that every single at-bat of Juan Soto this year is a battle. There's no wasted at-bats whatsoever. He battles the opposing pitcher. He battles the home plate umpire for dominance of the strike zone. If there's a close pitch that doesn't go his way, he'll look back at the umpire, and believe you me, that same pitch comes next, Soto gets the call because it's a chess match with Soto, the opposing pitcher, the home plate umpire, and he strikes up a conversation with the opposing catcher to kind of take his attention away from what's going on. He's got the Soto shuffle, where he taps the thigh and the whole thing just to remind himself to stay locked in during his at-bats. He doesn't waste any at-bat. He's a tremendous on-base guy. And watching him battle, because that's the only way to really describe it, to battle the pitcher, the umpire, and the opposing catcher in every plate appearance is just phenomenal.
Yeah, that's what Soto, man, that's gonna be something to watch this offseason.
Yep.
Just how we saw Ohtani this past offseason. Ricky, I want to transition from the Yankees in the American League to the National League, where you have to follow the Phillies because you work at WIP, but also you used to call Phillies games. I know you're a Phillies fan in a sense yourself.
Sure.
So I want to know, though, just in general on the National League, you have Austin Riley, the news with that he's hurt. No Strider, no Albies, no Acuna, and now no Riley for the Atlanta Braves. So it's not looking good for Atlanta. Who do you like in the National League? Phil's getting it together a little here. Milwaukee's playing good baseball. Dodgers, powerhouse. Who do you like in the National League right now?
I don't buy the Brewers. They're doing it with smoke and mirrors. All the credit to Pat Murphy, who's done a tremendous job. But with Yelich out for the rest of the season, that's a tremendous blow to the Milwaukee Brewers. I think they're getting fat on a lot of these mediocre teams in the National League Central, the Reds and the Pirates, the Cubs and the Cardinals. None of them are really, real strong contenders. They're right at 500, a game or two below. Maybe they jump up a game over. I think they're all going to end up below 500, except for the Brewers. But the National League is the Phillies to lose, okay? I think the Phillies have far superior starting pitching than the Dodgers do. Now, Kopech has been a tremendous addition to the Dodger bullpen. He's been untouchable since he came over from the White Sox. But I do expect the Phillies, who have gone through a couple of months. Look, there are moments in seasons. There are individual games and individual moments in seasons that can turn the tide. And I think you guys may agree with me. The game in London against the Mets, where Alvarado blew the ninth inning lead in London, and the Mets came back and won that game, that put the Phillies on a southward turn here. This thing started to go south and started to go bad for the Phils after that game in London. They have yet to really fully recover their mojo. There have been times when it starts to look like they're really coming back and look like the month of May Philadelphia Phillies. My favorite Philly is Kyle Schwarber. Okay, I as soon as he signed in Philadelphia, and you probably heard me say this. I said Philadelphia Phillies fans are going to fall in love with this guy. He's a blue collar, shot in a beer kind of player. He is Philadelphia. I get Harper, but Harper's a whole different situation.
That's too much pandering.
Yeah. Of the grit guys in that Phillies lineup, my favorite is Kyle Schwarber. He represents everything that the city of Philadelphia is all about. Hardworking, grinded out type of guy in each and every at bat. But the Phillies have far superior starting pitching than the Dodgers do. In my opinion, they're much better than the Milwaukee Brewers. The team that is going to be sneaky, and you mentioned all the injuries that the Atlanta Braves have, and I think this could be the death nail because Riley could have been the guy that carried them offensively. Ozuna's been incredible this year. Olsen's had an up and down year. I thought Riley was just starting to get hot now, right at the right time. But I think the New York Mets could be sneaky enough to get into that 6th seed right behind both Arizona and San Diego. I think the Braves eventually are out. I think somehow or another the New York Mets sneak in, and then we'll take it from there. But I think in the National League, the Phillies are the dominant team. I would be stunned, and I don't say this because it's my two teams or for no other reason. I would be surprised, very much surprised, if the 2024 World Series is not a rematch of the 2009 World Series. 15 years later, the Yankees and the Philadelphia Phillies.
Oh, man. That would be something. If we get a rematch of 2009, that would be awesome. You go right up the road to New York or right down the road to Philadelphia. That would be awesome, Ricky, if it is those two teams. But I want to stick with the Phillies a little bit.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about the bullpen. You mentioned starting pitching. They've been really good. Wheeler, Nola, Sanchez, Rangers coming back off the injury as well. But guys like Jeff Hoffman, Matt Strahm, Kerkering, Alvarado, in the second half of the season have not been the same pitchers they were in the first half. Is there any concern if you're the Phillies that those guys can't get it together once October comes upon us?
Look, those are horses that you're going to have to ride. These are proven commodities, okay, with the exception of Kerkering, who's still a young guy who, 1 minute looks fantastic, the next minute maybe not so much. I've watched enough of Carlos Estevez to know that this is a quality pitcher. Mentally, he can handle the closer role. Mentally, I think he can handle the pressure because let's face it, when you are the closer for the Philadelphia Phillies in this city, there's a lot of weight on your shoulders. You have to know how to handle that weight. I think Estevez knows how to handle that weight. I think Alvarado will have a bounce back here toward the end of the season. Look, baseball is a long marathon of 162 games. It's ups and downs. And, I've watched teams. Eventually, the cream rises to the top. You watch good teams be great. You watch bad teams be good. But when all is said and done, the cream water finds its level and the cream rises to the top. The Phillies are the cream of the National League. They still have the best record in the National League, albeit the Dodgers coming up a little bit quick and may challenge them there. You want to be able to play at home, so it's important, I think, for the Phillies to maintain the best record in the National League. I'd be shocked if they didn't have it. The schedule favors the Phillies, especially in the month of September, as compared to the Dodgers, who are going to play Arizona. They're going to play San Francisco. They're going to play San Diego. They've got a much tougher schedule, do the Dodgers, than compared to what the Phillies have down the stretch. So I wouldn't be as concerned as maybe some, quick trigger finger Phillies fans are that you hear on the radio. And I hope you guys aren't panicking either.
No, there's a lot of the fan base panicking over Rob Thompson's decision to not pinch hit yesterday, and I'm fine. I'm relaxed, Ricky. I'm relaxed. So
We're settled. We're settled.
Should,
that's for sure.
You should be. Everything's going to be fine.
Yeah, Ricky. So I want to close it out with some broadcasting questions here. We got to bring this up. The great John Sterling steps down this year. You filled in a good amount. You've gotten a lot of attention for those smooth jazz calls, like we've seen out there. So two-part thing here. What's it been like? Because obviously a lot of love on social media for the push for you to potentially be that guy, whether you want it or not. So that's number one. What has that love been like? And number two, more iconic call. Is it the smooth jazz or is it the no senor? Which one is it?
Oh, that's a good one. There'll never be another call like no senor. I mean, I got to tell you, the call that not too many people talk about is the last play of the game in the Super Bowl. That kind of got overshadowed by, number one, it was a madhouse in there that night. But I'll put my call of the final play of the Super Bowl up against any other of my other great calls. The no senor call is legendary. Guys, I spent 3 days in Orlando going to the different network affiliates, Fox, and remember that call was in Spanish. Mm-hmm. And I spent 3 days sitting in front of a camera at the NBC, CBS, and Fox affiliates in Orlando, sitting in front of a camera and talking to individual television stations around the country about that call, which is unprecedented for a call that, 90% of the audience didn't even understand what the heck I was talking about. So smooth jazz, the position, if I were to attain the position of the voice of the New York Yankees in English and, follow my good friend, John Sterling, I'd be honored to fill his shoes. Those kind of decisions, I leave to the good Lord upstairs. I do my best. I'll have another series coming up next week, a whole week, actually. I'll be doing the National Series and the St. Louis Cardinal Series. The other, young broadcasters that are rotating with me, Justin Shackle, Emmanuel Berbari. We've had Brendan Burke. We even had Craig Carton, the great Craig, a weekend series.
Ricky, did McPherson? McPherson did one too, didn't he? Didn't he do a series?
Well, he filled in for Susan, so he didn't do play-by-play. He filled in, as the analyst did Keith McPherson. But we've been rotating all year long. Now, obviously, in the month of September, with my Eagles duties, because when it's regular season, and you both know this because you produced me, when it's regular season and there's a conflict, if there's an Eagle game on the same day of a Yankee game, I do the Eagles. In postseason, if the Eagles and Yankees are playing at the same time, then the Yankees win out. But this season, when you look at the postseason schedule, the National League plays its division series and championship series on Sundays. The American League does not. So I do not have any conflicts this year in the postseason. I'll be able to call, whether it's on the English side or the Spanish side, I will be able to call every game, including up to Game 7 of the World Series for the New York Yankees, and not miss any Eagle broadcasts either. It hasn't always worked out that way. It works out that way this year, and that was music to the ears of management and at Odyssey when I told them I got no conflicts in October, so if you choose to use me, I'm your man. Let's see what happens.
Rickie, I got one last one for you. You did a lot of radio DJing on the music side of things early on in your career. Did you ever think you'd be with the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Yankees, even at the same time?
No, in my wildest dreams, when I had a very good career on the music side. I spent 23, 24 years playing records, programming, morning drive, afternoon drive, evenings. I did it all in New York. I did it in Miami. My first 6 months when I was 17 years old was right here in Orlando at a little AM disco station. I worked in, major market after major market, the vast majority of the years in New York. And then when I got the opportunity I got to Philadelphia musically. I arrived in Philadelphia in 2007 to program Rumba 104.5. It was Rumba 104.5, a salsa station on the FM that only lasted about 6 months and not because we didn't succeed. The way that radio stations get their ratings changed from diaries to the electronic people meter. And Hispanics thought the people meter was a tracking device for the government and would throw them in dumpsters and trash cans. So all of a sudden, from one day to the next, overnight, Rumba's ratings were like a 3-something, and it went down to a 0.2, or, it was a drastic drop. At the same time, I had started to do some Phillies games. And then when the Rumba gig ended, I just stayed full-time doing the Phillies, which led to the Eagles, which led to WIP, which led to WFAN, and now I'm on the shift.
That's a perfect way to end that. I love that was perfection, Rickie. And that's a perfect way to end this interview. Hey, look, really appreciate you for hopping on the shift or this just like you said. We're definitely going to be using that.
Well, you know how much I look, I enjoy working with both of you very, very much. I coined the phrase Cookie Rojas,
You did. I remember.
And, I've always made sure that Nick earns every penny he makes. Okay?
I haven't heard that one.
You're right.
Don't give him too much credit, but thank you, Rickie. Appreciate you.
Guys.
Yeah.
Rickie, thanks so much.
Yeah, Rick. Well, we look forward to everything going on in the future. All right.
I'd love to be back.
All right.
Rickie Ricardo, man.
The great Rickie Ricardo on the shift, episode 64. We really, hope that you out there enjoyed that interview as much as we did, because, we just finished that. And that was you get everything there. You got Yankees talk, let's be honest, biggest franchise on the planet still in sports. You got some Major League Baseball talk, a lot of in-depth stuff from Rickie, and you got a glimpse, inside the broadcasting mind of Rickie Ricardo. So Nick, that was fun, man.
That was a great time. I love always chatting with Rickie Ricardo. I got to produce his show at one point. You still get to do it at times. He's the best, man. He's awesome. And the way he ended that, true professional. He ends up on the shift. I mean, how about that? That's the way he ended, right?
Now I'm on the shift. That was
Poetic.
Unbelievable.
That's poetic.
Yeah, poetic might be an understatement. I don't know.
Yep.
You know. So yeah, let's get into part 2
Do it.
of episode 64. So Nick, we kind of heard, Rickie talking about the Austin Riley news there.
Yep.
For the Braves. Just happened. Is out 6 to 8 weeks. I mean, I kind of already, even alluded to it with, asking Rickie the question that I did. What's that mean for Atlanta, man? This is a huge blow.
It is. It is. Losing Austin Riley is a huge blow. I mean, right now, they're pretty far back in the standings. What is it? 7.5 games right now behind the Phils. So, yeah, I mean, they've just been dealt with the injury bug all year to the pitching staff. I mean, Ronald Acuna, all their top guys. I mean, they're just going down with injuries, man. It's a shame because the Braves are a really good team. They're a good franchise. They develop players the right way. Got to give them
you say it with a smile on your face because you're a Phillies fan.
I'm just saying they do. You got to give them credit. If I'm looking at it unbiasedly, I'm just saying they got to agree because they won a couple years ago. It's a shame. It is.
I know. I'm just messing with you. Go ahead.
It's funny. I had a buddy of mine who is a Braves fan text me today. I want to read it off. I'm not going to say any names, but I will read off the text. Said, well, so much to any chance of the Braves making a run on the Phils lead. Enjoy the division title this year. So that's where Braves fans' minds are at.
I mean, relax. They were to relax to your friend. We were gonna win the division anyway. You already had.
They were putting 07 Phillies. Wasn't going to be an 07 Phillies.
Was not going to happen. Look, Sale's been unbelievable this year. I'm actually happy for Chris Sale because I think he has a potential shot at the Cy Young Award, and I think he could use one for his career because he had so many times that he was so close. So, yeah, Nick, I mean, this is just it's a big blow. I think this is like kind of the nail in the coffin, and I honestly they could miss the playoffs. They really could. I mean, would I be? Yeah, I mean, they really could miss the playoffs altogether. And it's going to be a fight for that last wild card seed. I think I can see the Mets getting that last wild card seed right now. Go ahead.
Rickie even mentioned the Mets being a sneaky team to get into the postseason.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I'm not there yet. A lot of people have been high on the Mets the last month and a half because they played good baseball. Not there yet. And I know I might be saying. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say the Diamondbacks.
Oh yeah, I've told you this.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it. I've talked about it on numerous shows. Like the Diamondbacks are a team. If you're the Phillies, that's a team you got to worry about. The Dodgers. I wouldn't worry about as much. We know they're going to fall apart. I mean,
what about the Padres, though, man? You're not scared of. I think the Padres. People aren't talking about the Padres enough.
I'm not as worried as I am the Diamondbacks, but the Padres are a good team. You can't count them out. I'm not saying they've been really good. I'm not saying that, but the Diamondbacks, dude, they have the same team as last year. They got better in the bullpen. They have better starting pitching than last season. Yeah. If Corbin Carroll gets hot too, I mean, I would put the Diamondbacks over the Padres. I'm still there.
I can't be mad at that, but Tatis is gonna come back eventually.
I understand.
And let that offense get clicking. Dylan Cease is throwing no hitter. Michael King has been really good this year. That rotation. Are some question marks there. But, I mean, the back end of that bullpen ain't too bad there with Tanner Scott now. Robert Suarez.
Hey, remember Arizona got A.J. Puck? I know. Puck. You got the other guy.
I get it. All right. So, yeah, I think that we can agree on this segment that I think Atlanta's out of the running. Let's just be honest. Atlanta's out of the running. And go ahead.
Even if they make the playoffs, they're not going to go very far.
There's not enough offense there, man. No. You can't just bank on Jorge Soler to save the day.
They don't have the starting pitching depth either.
Yeah, they don't. And, Sale and Fried even Fried's been questionable in the playoffs in the past. He's been good, but he's also been bad. So it's Reynaldo Lopez. He is coming back. He's coming back this week. But, he doesn't have the greatest track record in his career. He's been good this year. He's found something with Atlanta. But, yeah, Atlanta's too many question marks. And Austin Riley, who's had an up and down year, he's it's not. I think it's over for the Braves. And it's been over, but I think this is really nail in the coffin. So, Nick, I really need to ask you about this. I mean, as soon as I knew we were doing an episode this week, even if we were just going to do the Rickie interview, we got to talk about the 6th inning minute.
Yep, I knew you were going this route.
And this is good for the show. We want what's good for baseball. We want. I like these type of conversations. these are the type of riveting conversations that I really enjoy in baseball. Honestly, I know that kind of sounds sarcastic, but it's true. This whole idea of a 6-inning minimum for the pitchers. I don't know. What do you think, man? Good idea or bad idea for baseball? So basically what the criteria would be, because we have to, preface it with this. It's not just every starting pitcher has to throw 6 innings no matter what. It's not that way. The starting pitcher would have to at least throw 100 pitches, A. B, give up 4 or more earned runs, or C, if he's injured, unfortunately, a required injured list stint to avoid manipulation. What do you think about this rule, man? Is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Baseball's been trending with openers and guys going 4 to 5 innings a start. You have Blake Snell winning Cy Youngs by, going, barely 6 innings. Not saying Blake Snell's not great, but it's besides the point. It's about, guys not throwing complete games like that anymore. Back when you had Greg Maddux and Randy Johnson, whomever else, going the depth of games that they've gone. What do you think, man? Good or bad idea?
The intent is in the right place. The heart is in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
This is the dumbest idea I've ever heard. This is beyond ridiculously stupid. I'm sorry. No. 6-inning limits? Are we serious? We're going to put limits on pitchers now? They have to go 6 innings? I understand the max velocity thing. You don't want guys blowing their arms out. You want to see pitchers go deeper in the game. The intent's fine. This is baseball trying to do too much. It's just way over the top. Listen, the pitch clock, great idea. You want to speed up the game? Cool. Ghost runner, dumb idea. Like they have come up with some decent ones and some really bad ones. This is one of the really most dumb ideas I've heard Major League Baseball come up with. The intent's fine, but to limit managers this way, and now you have Major League Baseball, the corporation, really controlling the game instead of the managers and the players. Let baseball play out. Let baseball evolve. You take the power away from the managers. What are you doing to relievers? Like, how is this going to affect other areas of the game? How is this going to affect lineups, etc.? Like, there's so many different factors that would go into this rule. It would affect so much of the game. It wouldn't feel like baseball. You know what I mean? Like, pitch clock, you're speeding things up a little bit. Like, all right, let's go. Let's not take an hour between pitches. Fine. But to now mess with the game in this sense, having pitchers, they have to go 6 innings, I think that's ridiculous. I know there would be rules to, if a guy got hurt or whatever, things like that. That's fine. But to have it forced upon pitchers to go that deep into ball games, that's just not baseball. It's just not the sport of it. That's just not how it's been ever. I think this is way over the top. It's too much. They're trying to do too much too soon, all at the same time, with the clock, with the ghost, right? Like, all these rules they're trying to add in, robo umps. You can't do it all at the same time. Let the game evolve. If that's how the game's going to evolve, with openers and bullpen games and guys only going 4 to 5 innings, they'll figure it out once you see all these star pitchers going down and getting Tommy John. It doesn't start at the major league level. It starts in little league, through high school, through 50-70, through 60-90, through travel, through perfect game. They're teaching these guys to throw 100 miles an hour. Like, they're saying instead of pitch, right?
They never taught me.
But they're coming up this way, right? And they're not relying on their secondary pitches as much, right? So it's starting at the youth level. It's not Major League Baseball. It shouldn't be Major League Baseball's job to police a manager and a decision for teams like that. It shouldn't. It's ridiculous. It's one of the most dumb ideas, but very well intended. It will not work. It's not right for the game. It's too much, way too soon with all the rule changes they've already implemented. You're not going to recognize baseball anymore if you get to that level. I just think it's absolutely ridiculous.
Nick, my whole thing though is this: what if it never evolves back to starting pitchers going deep into games?
It doesn't need to. Let the game evolve to what it needs to be. The game evolves over time. It's for better or for worse. That's how you got to look at it. You can't just start policing the game and telling these pitchers and managers how to operate. I think it's ridiculous.
I agree with that to a certain extent, but I think a lot of people, kids and fans, identify with these starting pitchers. I don't disagree with you. I am a big proponent of having natural just eras in sports. You know, you had the 90s with basketball and it being a little more rougher. And now it's not as rough and, you know, a lot of flopping. 3-point shooting, you know, baseball now, steroid era you had. And, you know, it's been dominantly with pitching probably more or less over the last decade or so. There have been some, you know, big offensive years in recent years. I'm just, Nick, I don't know if it would ever go back though. I don't know if it would ever go back
to.
I don't know, Matt. Oh, you just gonna, I mean, pitcher's just gonna go 2 innings. You're gonna have like 12 pitchers every game.
I'm not saying I love the idea of openers and having guys only go 3 or 4. I don't love that, but
that's what it would
way
be.
too extreme. This is just way
I
too
don't
extreme.
think it's that extreme.
You got to let the game evolve. I mean, if that's how they're going to play it, they'll figure it out eventually that you're going to need guys to go deeper into ball games to win. They'll figure it out. Let the players and the managers and the teams and the organizations figure out. Don't have Rob Manfred come up with these ideas in a back room, in a boardroom, and say, "Oh, well, let's throw this out there and see if it sticks." No, it's stupid. I think it's
just an experiment. I'm okay. I'm not
experimenting
upset
with
it. Okay,
I'm upset.
Look, if you got to do what you got to do, I'm okay with the 6-inning minimum, man. I'm okay with it. I'm okay.
Stop tinkering with stuff. Stop. Leave it.
Look, and
leave
if he's losing, if he's giving up 4 more, he's going out. So don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
No, you shouldn't have to go 6 innings. You shouldn't have to go.
In my Bob Marley voice, in my, you know, my every little thing, it's gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? Cool run-ins, baby. Cool run-ins. But there's a couple more things we have to get to before the end of the show here. I definitely want to do. We're gonna do a blind ranking, and I'm gonna blind rank you, and I'm so excited for it. Real quick, Nick, before we get to that.
Yes.
3 things that stood out to you this Players Weekend. It was fun. It was exciting. You know, bats, different type of bat designs, cleat designs, hats, and you know, different stuff. Players Weekend supposed to be for the players. No nicknames though. I didn't like that. What'd you like though? What stood out to you?
That's crazy you say that because that was my number one thing. Bring back the nicknames. Player nicknames are fun. I'm with that. My first thing, bring back the nicknames. I'm with that. So
what would your nickname be? What did Rickie say about you? I love that. Penny earned.
Yeah. Earn every penny earned. Yeah. So yeah, there was this one segment we did, and he was like, he's raking in the cash tonight, like on the air. It was fantastic. Yeah. Because I was working like a double shift or whatever.
Right.
And up in Philly, and that was pretty fun. It was so he comes, you know, he's got cookie for you is the best stuff.
Yeah.
Cookie for you.
All I'm gonna say is Rickie. Well, I will let Rickie run with that. That he created the Cookie Rojas, you know, persona.
He did create.
Yep.
I was there.
Good.
Back to Players Weekend. I thought the designs on the hats were really cool. Of the numbers, I thought that was interesting. But I think a better idea, it kind of goes back to my first thing, is having the nicknames on the side of the hats too. I think that would be awesome. I think that would be pretty cool. Now,
that would be dope.
Now, I think that could be an idea. Go back to the nicknames on the back of the jersey as well as on the different designs on the side of the hats. I think that would be something Major League Baseball could think about. It's a pretty good idea. It's just for a weekend. It's fun. You know, we're trying to get you to have fun again, you know, because
I'm always having fun, man.
I don't know about that. But that was really cool. And then the bat, I forget who it was. Someone had a pencil bat. And I thought that.
There was a couple.
Awesome.
There was a couple.
I think a few people had it. I forget who I saw did have it. But the pencil bat, yeah, that's dope.
Well, I'm looking at it right now. It was pencil bat homer right now. Who was it? It was.
Who would home run?
Was it Jeffers from
it might have been. I saw it.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm watching it right now. I'm trying to think who else did. I thought Trey didn't. He had like the light blue, Trey Turner. But I mean, can I give mine now? Are you done with yours?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I mean, the best one was actually the best one I will say was Logan O'Hoppe. I thought that was cool.
What did he have?
You see that? So he had on his chest protector, he had all Children's Hospital kids sign his chest protector.
Now that you say it,
hands down. Hands down.
I totally forgot. I did see that. That was awesome.
That was the best. That hit me right in the heart, right in the feels. You know, that hit me right in the chest. I felt that, and that was really heartwarming, and that was it made me think, why did we trade this guy, and why is JT Realmuto, washed up? Catcher still with the
Oh,
Phils.
whoa,
But this isn't the
whoa,
Phillies
whoa,
podcast. I'm not going to
whoa.
make that about that. I did do a
Watch.
video on this channel way back about like trading JT or trading Ohapi is a bad idea, since it's a bad idea. Signing Realmuto was a bad idea. Okay, that's from like 3 years ago. If you want to go watch that. Okay, it's on the channel. Go back in the Shift archives. I've done a lot of videos, a lot of great takes that Earnshaw would probably love.
Now that video is probably the Shift without the F. That's
yeah. Sure, get the heck out of here. 2 more things, and I have the video, I have the picture up right here. And he hit a home run with this bat. Bobby Witt with the Pablo Sanchez bat.
Yeah, there you go.
Look at that guy. The most underrated player in baseball.
That's awesome.
An underappreciated player in baseball.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, you know what, Ricky, I'm sorry. He might win MVP over Judge. Just kidding. It's Judge.
Ooh, it's Judge.
Number 3, I'd go Ben Joyce's cleats. He had like Tennessee style cleats.
Okay.
The fireman, because he was the volunteer firefighter. Fireman.
Yep.
At Tennessee, you don't like
Fireman.
that. Okay. There's a lot of cool cleats that stood out. I like those a lot. Nick, are you ready for your blind ranking?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm gonna type them out so I can put them up on the screen too. Because I don't.
Okay, I know. I don't have access. Or do I have access?
I have access. That's okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna type them out.
I know. I'm sorry. This is you having to do this. We probably should have discussed this before the show. We didn't. It's okay.
All right, do it.
All right,
do it.
So what I have for you,
okay,
is Rookie of the Years, the last decade since 2014. A lot of good ones, man. A lot of good ones.
10?
5. We're going with 5.
5.
Yeah, no, 10's too much.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Whoa, here we go.
I think StreamYard, we have a cap here on an hour. So
yeah, we might have
we got 8.5 minutes here, so we got to go quick. Not quick, but we got to go quick. So I give you the name, right? And then you put it wherever. So we're gonna start with last year, 2023 American League Rookie of the Year, Gunnar Henderson.
Oh,
where are you putting him?
I hate you. I absolutely hate you.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
go ahead.
And it's since 2014 too, right?
Yeah. So this is fun. It was gonna be fun if I did the last 5 years. I guess the last 10. And there's gonna be some ones you're like, oh, I forgot he won Rookie.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Gunnar 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Gunnar 2. I'm gonna start off with Gunnar at 2. I think that's a good spot with him. I mean, he's been in the conversation for MVP. I think to start off without knowing
lately, homers wise.
Yeah. I mean, and he's gonna be he's a stud. He's a superstar. So.
Oh,
Gunnar Henderson. I'll go 2 Gunnar because I feel like there's someone that's definitely above him right now. That's a little more cachet.
Little Pache. Is that Christian Pache? Sorry, that was a dumb joke. Next one. 2014 National League Rookie of the Year. And I forgot about this. Jacob deGrom.
Oh.
I mean, where are you going with deGrom?
Oh. Gee.
269 ERA that year.
Yeah, it's
hitters
hard to
hit 217 against them. Whatever your criteria is, man. You compare, you do whatever you want.
It's so hard to compare pitchers and hitters.
I can give you numbers if you want, because it might be a little, hard to remember.
I'm gonna go deGrom 3.
Okay.
I'm gonna go deGrom 3. I think Gunnar's going to be an absolute superstar. So it might be a little. You could put deGrom over him.
I mean, I'm talking about. See, this is
per year. There's that single year.
Because I don't want to I know Gunnar's going to be a star. I'm talking about that year.
Yeah,
those numbers that he put up.
I will put Gunnar. I'll put Gunnar above.
And I can remind you about the numbers. Like Gunnar last year, 255, 28 home runs. Not having the years having this year, but rookie season. That's a great rookie season. All right, third one here. 2017 National League MVP.
Okay.
Cody Bellinger.
Oh.
That year.
Rattle off some numbers for me.
39 homers. 39 homers. 97 ribbies. Yeah. 352 on base, 581 slug. I'm just looking at the numbers here on the baseball reference page for each one. So
I messed up putting Gunnar 2. I messed up bad.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know who else you got in your wheelhouse there. He's got to go 1 or 4.
And no, by the way, I will give you this hint. By the way, I don't put 2020 on here. I'm not going to put Kyle Lewis or Devin Williams because it's shortened seasons. So next one.
I'll go. I didn't say. I didn't say
I'm
yet.
sorry.
I'm still
I'm sorry. I
deciding.
apologize.
I'll go Bellinger. I feel like you got someone still that I'm like. I would be mad if I didn't put him on. So I'm gonna go Bellinger 4. Shoot.
Good. I love this. I love
This is horrible.
I feel like I shouldn't be reacting because it's
I
giving
hate
away
this.
stuff.
I can't believe my dumb self put Gunner. Oh, I can't believe I put Gunner too.
Hey,
I love Gunner.
you're gonna remember some afterwards too, and you're gonna be like, oh, I thought it was me on the list. And yeah. Next one. So you have what? Where'd you have 4? Right.
4.
2022 American League Rookie of the Year. He's had a weird year this year, but his rookie year,
Yeah.
pretty incredible. Julio Rodriguez.
Oh, you so
That year he had a couple of years ago, 284 average, 345 on base, 509 slug, 28 homers, and 25 stolen bases. 25 and 25 your rookie year. Doesn't get much better than that. 6.2 WAR, almost in like the MVP type of conversations rookie year. Julio Rodriguez, where are you putting Julio?
Can't put him 1. Can't put him 1. I feel like you got one more up your sleeve that I'm going to save for the last one.
Okay.
It's going 5.
Are you ready?
Oh, no. Yeah.
You ready? Drum roll, please.
Oh, man.
2018 American League Rookie of the Year. This year, he is not pitching. He's just hitting. Shohei Ohtani of the Anaheim Angels of Anaheim. Los Angeles Angels. Whatever.
Okay. He's won.
He's won.
Yep.
Hit 285 that year, 361, 564. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense. I think you're probably happy with 1.
Okay.
So what do you
Not a
think
bad
there, your list? I actually like your list. You think
It's not bad.
I mean, Bellinger's probably 2 or 1.
Yeah.
I'd probably go 1 for Bellinger.
Yeah, because that was an insane year.
Now,
I think Shohei, you have to put 1. Bellinger would probably be 2. If I had to redo it, it would go Shohei, it would go Bellinger, DeGrom, Rodriguez, Gunner. I'd have to put Gunner's rookie year last, unfortunately, because he's been fantastic in his second year. But compared to all these other rookie years, I think he would have to be last.
I purposely didn't throw Judge from 17 or Alonso because those rookie years were insane, and it was gonna be way too easy to have them
thought you were
up too high.
I was thinking Judge. I was thinking you were gonna have Judge,
but that was gonna be too easy. I was gonna be like, no, I got to make you think that it might be up there, and you're like, oh, well, yeah, see, yeah,
not bad. It's not a bad list though. It's not a bad list.
Yeah, I thought you did a good job. I thought you did a good job.
I love these blind rankings. Wait till
these are fun.
Wait till next week. I'm gonna get you.
You're gonna give me some bull crap. You're gonna do like probably do the 1990s Phillies or something like that.
And I love how you started with Gunner. I love how because you knew I'd put him high.
Yeah, exactly.
you knew I was gonna put him up there, and I'd regret it.
Dude, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing, man. Contrary to your belief, I know what I'm doing. So, all right, that has been another edition of The Shift up here on StreamYard, YouTube, Spotify,
Twitter X
Apple.
Platform.
What is that?
Twitter X platform.
Twitter X platform. Google Podcasts. I mean, we're on TikTok with the shorts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We're on we're on IG. We're everywhere, man. We're everywhere where you're never there. And if you're never there, you need to be there. Yep. It's not a shot. It's just the truth. Get where you need to get. Follow us on every single social media platform. Once again, Rickie Ricardo. We really appreciate Rickie for hopping on the show. We'll be having some more guests soon. So Rickie, big thank you to Rickie and everything he's got going on as possibly the next New York Yankees radio broadcaster. I mean, they're calling for it.
We support it. We want it.
We support it. Of course we support it. We support it. That's what we do. But good luck to Rickie's future endeavors. So another episode of The Shift. Bam! Boom! Pow! We're gone.